High in the mist-covered mountains of South America, a giant stone face is carved into solid rock. No path leads to it. No one knows who built it, and yet it's watching. Strange symbols cover its surface. Scientists can't read them. Locals say it appeared overnight, and one explorer who tried to reach it was never seen again. Some say it's a message from the past. Others say it's not from this world at all. But what's hidden behind it is the real mystery no one wants to talk about, because whatever is inside was never meant to be found. Welcome to a new story on Historia Unseen. I'm John, your storyteller and voiceover artist, and what you're about to hear will stay with you forever. Let's begin. In the middle of the mountains, a face appeared where no face should exist. No one built it, no one remembers it, but it was always watching. This isn't just a mystery. This is a warning, left behind by something or someone. And tonight, we'll take you deep inside a story of forgotten gods, missing explorers, and a nation that rose and vanished without a name. What lies behind this face may change what we think about history forever. Welcome to Historia Unseen. I'm John, your voiceover artist for this channel. And what you're about to hear is not fiction. It's a story the mountains tried to bury. The forest was quiet, too quiet. Thick fog rolled over the green hills, wrapping the world in silence. Only birds dared speak. Only the wind whispered. High above the trees, where no road reached, stood a mountain older than time. And on its side, a face. Huge. Stone. Staring. But this was not where our story began. Many centuries ago, before the world had borders, before maps had names, a group of people came to this land. No one knows who they were. They left no books, no coins, no bones. Only signs. Only marks. They were travelers, not from the sky, not from the sea, but from the jungle itself. They came with strange tools, and they carved the cliffs as if the rock was soft. The face was their beginning, their first act, their way of saying, "We are here." And slowly, around the stone face, a kingdom was born. Not a kingdom like the others, with kings and gold and war, but something quieter, something hidden, a nation in the clouds, built not for power, but for protection. They believed something lived beneath the earth, something that could not be allowed to rise. They carved the face not as art, but as a seal, a wall, a lock. But centuries passed, and the jungle grew, and the people disappeared. No one knows how. No war, no plague, no sign, just silence. All that was left was the face. Locals feared it. They called the mountain La Cara del Dios Dormido, the face of the sleeping god. No one climbed it. No one touched it. Children were told, "Don't look into its eyes, or it might wake up." Then, one day, a team of explorers entered the region. They had drones, cameras, tools. They laughed at the legends. One drone flew higher than the others. It vanished in the mist. When it came back, it showed something no one had ever seen. A giant face, perfectly carved, not touched by weather, not covered in moss, as if it had just been made. One of the explorers, Daniel Carter, couldn't stop staring at the images. "The eyes," he whispered, "they are not just carved. They are shaped to follow light, like a lens." He made a choice. He would climb it, alone. Locals begged him not to. "The mountain doesn't like to be touched," they said. But he didn't listen. With a rope and flashlight, Daniel climbed at dawn. Halfway up, he sent a message by radio. "I see something. It's not just a face. There's space behind it, like a doorway." And then, nothing. No scream. No fall. No signal. He was gone. His team waited for days. Search helicopters came. Nothing. Only the wind. Only the eyes, still watching. To this day, no one has found Daniel Carter. No one has touched the face again. But deep in the stone, behind carved lips and ancient symbols, something waits. Something that once birthed a nation, and maybe ended it too. The fog never left this mountain. It came every morning, and stayed until the stars retained. Locals said it was no ordinary mist. They called it the breath of the gods. At the foot of the mountain lived a man. Old, quiet, almost forgotten like the mountain itself. His name was Tomas. He had lived in the same wooden house for over 70 years. He was just a boy when he first saw the face. But what he remembered was not the face. He remembered the sound. "I was picking fruit with my father," he said in an old interview, barely a whisper. Then the wind stopped, and the air began to hum, low, like a machine or a giant bee. He looked up and saw light coming from the rocks. Not sunlight, not fire. A soft blue glow, leaking from the cracks in the cliff, right where the face now stands. But back then, there was no face, no eyes, no mouth, just smooth stone, and that strange light. He told his father. His father told him, "Forget what you saw. Some doors should stay closed." But Tomas never forgot. Years passed. The glow disappeared. No one talked about it again, until the drone found the face, and people started coming. Journalists, archaeologists, mystics, all hungry for answers. A team of scientists arrived with a 3D scanner. They wanted to see beneath the rock, to find what was hidden, and they found something strange. Behind the face, the scanner showed a large space, a perfect, hollow chamber, roughly the size of a small house. But there was no way in. No cracks, no seams, only solid stone. "How is it hollow with no entrance?" one scientist asked. No one answered. They also found a pattern. Every symbol on the face was placed with perfect math. Some formed shapes like star charts. Others resembled musical notes. One researcher played the notes on a keyboard. The sound was soft, haunting, almost like the hum Tomas once heard. Coincidence? Or did the symbols carry sound? Further into their study, they noticed something even stranger. The face, it didn't age. No moss, no cracks. Even after rain, it stayed dry. One geologist rubbed the stone and whispered, "This isn't natural erosion. This rock is being treated." Treated with what? No known ancient tool could cut stone that clean. Then, an old document was discovered. In a church basement, miles away, lay the lost travel journal of a Spanish priest from the 1600s. Father Domingo. He had written about a village hidden in the clouds, where people worshipped a god with no name, a god who slept inside the mountain. He called it La Nación Silenciosa, the silent nation. He wrote, "They bow not to a king, but to a stone, with eyes that do not close. They say it holds something ancient, something from the sky, and that one day, when the world forgets them, the god will wake." No one believed the priest. His records were shelved as fantasy. But now, with the face found exactly where he described, his words echoed louder than ever before. Some tried to explain it. Others tried to hide it. One government official claimed the face was a hoax, made by artists using lasers. But when reporters asked which artists, he gave no names, no photos, no evidence. A few weeks later, he resigned. One local said, "They don't want us to look too close, because if we do, we'll learn something we're not ready to know." The face had become more than just stone. It had become a question too big for science, too dangerous for faith, and too strange for history. Tomas still watches from his house. He doesn't speak to journalists anymore. But once, just once, he whispered a warning to a young visitor. "If the humming returns, leave. Do not look back. Do not go closer. Because the mountain remembers. And maybe the face is not just a memory. Maybe it's waiting." They looked like writing, but no one could read them. The stone face on the mountain wasn't just a carving. It was covered in strange marks. Lines, shapes, curves that twisted like vines and danced like waves. They weren't random. They had order, purpose, but no known language matched them. Not Mayan, not Incan, not Aztec, not even Sumerian or Egyptian. The first expert to study them was Dr. Lena Hart, a symbol analyst from New York. She had studied over 50 dead languages. She had cracked ancient scripts from caves in India, tombs in China, stones in Africa. But hey, she was silent. "This isn't like anything I've seen before," she said. "Some symbols repeat, like letters. Others stretch like full sentences. But I don't know the rules." She tried comparing them to known languages. Nothing. She tried decoding with AI. Still nothing. But then, something strange happened. She held a photo of the symbols up to a mirror. and in the reflection, some shapes looked familiar. A few matched old signs from the Indus Valley civilization, a culture over 4,000 years old, from the other side of the world. Impossible. She brought in a second expert, Dr. Nazir Khan, a historian from Pakistan. He stared at the mirror image for a long time, and then said softly, "These are not just for reading. They are meant to be heard." That idea changed everything. A linguist was called in. She studied the spacing of the marks, their curves, their rise and fall. Then she did something strange. She turned the symbols into sound. One line became a series of soft clicks and hums. Another sounded like wind through leaves. And one sounded like a deep, slow breath. The symbols weren't just visual. They were phonetic, spoken through nature, not words. One recording was sent to a sound lab in Germany. They ran a frequency analysis and discovered something terrifying. One of the symbol lines produced a frequency that matched brainwave patterns during deep sleep. Somehow, the sound written in stone could calm the human brain. Or maybe control it. By now, rumors were everywhere. Was this face a machine? A communicator? A gate? Old shamans from nearby villages came to look. One stayed at the face for hours, then burst into tears. He said he had dreamed of the face as a child. He had never seen it, but in his dreams, it glowed blue and whispered his name. He pointed at one symbol near the bottom. "That one means waiting," he said. "And this one, returned." But he couldn't say more. He collapsed minutes later. Heart failure, the doctor said. Or fear. Then, a strange discovery changed everything. A hiker, lost in the jungle for 2 days, found a broken piece of stone not far from the mountain. On it was the same kind of symbol, but this time, it was translated. Next to the ancient mark, someone had scratched a modern word, beneath. No one knew who made the scratch. It wasn't fresh. It had been there for years, maybe decades. But it was clear now. The symbols weren't just decoration. They were a message, a map, maybe even a warning. Lena and her team looked again at the full set of markings on the face. One vertical line seemed to separate the face into two sides. Left, the symbols curved upward. Right, they pointed downward. And in the center, just above the eyes, was a shape that didn't fit the rest. A circle, perfect and smooth. Not carved, fused. She ran a magnet over it. It pulled. The rock had metal inside. But how? This mountain was pure stone. No iron, no ore. And yet, something inside that circle was not natural. They scanned it with ground-penetrating radar. The results were blurry. But one thing was clear. Behind the symbol-covered face, inside the cliff, was a long, thin object. Not a tunnel, not a cave. Something straight, perfect, like a pillar, or a device. But no one was ready to go in. Not after what happened to Daniel Carter. His name still echoed in the valley. A climber, an explorer, lost without a trace. People whispered that the mountain took him because he touched the wrong symbol. That the face had memory. And the moment he unlocked something, it remembered. The team backed off. No one dared touch it again. Only photos remained. And questions. What do these symbols really say? Are they a guide? A puzzle? A warning? And why do some villages say that every night a soft hum comes from the mountain again? Like something is waking up or waiting to be read. His name was Daniel Carter. A solo explorer. A man who didn't believe in stories. Only facts. He had climbed volcanoes, walked through sandstorms in Egypt, even survived 2 weeks alone in the Amazon. He wasn't afraid of mountains. He wasn't afraid of the unknown. But this time, the unknown was waiting for him. It was 2006 when Daniel first saw the picture. A blurry satellite image. One side of a mountain, shaped like a human face. Perfectly carved. Too perfect. He laughed when others called it a mystery. Just a weathered rock, he said. Nature can surprise us. But when he looked closer, he saw something strange. Something others had missed. A shadow, right between the eyes. A black line. Thin. Straight. Too precise to be natural. He couldn't stop thinking about it. He booked a flight the next week. He arrived alone. No team. No sponsors. Just a backpack, ropes, and his old video camera. Locals tried to warn him. One woman gave him beads and said, "Wear this. It will protect you from the one inside." Daniel smiled, but didn't take it. Another old man grabbed his arm. People go near the face. They come back wrong. If they come back at all. But Daniel didn't believe in curses. He believed in discovery. He reached the base of the mountain just before sunrise. Fog still hung in the air. The jungle behind him was quiet. He looked up. There it was. The face. Even in the morning light, it seemed alive. The eyes caught the light. The lips curved slightly, as if it was watching, waiting. He pressed the record button on his camera and started climbing. Halfway up, he paused. He turned on his radio. The recording still exists today. One of the last sounds Daniel Carter ever made. "This is Daniel. I'm about 40 meters up. I can see the symbols now. They are deeper than I thought, like they were burned into the rock." A few minutes passed. Then he spoke again. "Wait, there's something here. A crack behind the left eye. It's not just a carving. It's hollow." A long pause. "I'm going in." Silence. No more updates. No radio signal. No camera footage returned. 3 hours passed. Then night came. Still nothing. The next morning, search teams climbed up. They reached the same height. They found his rope, cut clean near the end. No blood. No signs of a fall. No broken gear. No Daniel. Just a small patch of stone, freshly cracked, as if someone or something had opened it and closed it again. Days passed. Searchers came and went. Helicopters scanned the area. Nothing. Daniel Carter had vanished into solid stone. Back in his hometown, his disappearance made small news. Explorer lost in Andes. A climber's last ascent. But no one investigated deeper, except one man, Daniel's brother, Mark. Mark didn't believe in magic, but he knew his brother. And he knew Daniel wouldn't disappear without reason. He flew to the site 2 months later. He brought Daniel's journal, and what he read shocked him. In the final pages, Daniel had written strange thoughts. "I dreamed of the face last night. It was whispering, not in words, in feelings. When I woke up, my hands were covered in dust. I hadn't climbed yet. I think the face is pulling me in." Mark showed the journal to the scientists. Most thought it was stress, jungle fever, imagination. But one archaeologist didn't laugh. She said something Daniel had written matched an old story, an ancient legend from a lost tribe nearby. The story of a stone mouth that eats memory. According to the legend, the face wasn't just a carving. It was a living gate, and those who entered were never truly lost. They were trapped, kept, held inside. Mark tried to climb the mountain too, but after just 10 minutes, his rope snapped. He was caught by a safety line. Barely. He left the jungle the next day. He never came back. To this day, Daniel Carter's body has never been found. His camera, his tools, his voice, all gone. Only the mountain remembers. Only the face still watches. And maybe, just maybe, whatever took Daniel Carter isn't done yet. For years, the mountain stayed quiet. No answers, no new clues, just fog, and the eyes always watching. Daniel Carter's disappearance had scared off many explorers, but some couldn't stay away. They believed the face wasn't just a mystery. It was a map, a gate. One of them was Dr. Amora Lewis, a geotechnical engineer. She didn't care about myths. She cared about sound, vibration, structure. She believed every rock had a story, and this face was screaming to be heard. She brought a new scanner, something powerful, used in oil drilling. Her goal, to look deep inside the mountain, without breaking a single stone. They set up the scanner on a nearby ridge. A pulse was fired, and echoes came back in waves. For a moment, silence. Then the computer began to beep. A shape, long, narrow, curved, but it wasn't a cave. It wasn't natural. It was a tunnel. Amora checked again, and again. Same result. A hollow tunnel, starting behind the left eye of the stone face, and running downward for nearly 60 meters. But there was more. Just before the tunnel ended, there was a wide, open chamber, almost circular. almost like a room. The team was shocked. No one had ever found signs of rooms this deep, in solid rock, without human tools. But this was too perfect to be random. It was designed, intended. One assistant asked, "If there's a room, why isn't there a way in?" Amara looked up at the face. "Maybe," she said slowly. "We're not supposed to get in from outside." Later that night, something strange happened. While scanning the data, one of the researchers heard a low noise coming through his headphones. A soft vibration, repeating. 3 tones, over and over. It wasn't feedback. It wasn't error. It was sound coming from inside the mountain. They ran it through a filter. The tones formed a pattern, a triangle wave. It was the same tone found earlier in the carved symbols. The same tone Daniel Carter mentioned, just before he disappeared. Someone, or something, inside the mountain, was sending a signal. Amara decided to scan from a new angle. She climbed a nearby cliff for a top-down view. While setting up her gear, her hand brushed against the rock. She felt a small groove, barely visible. She wiped away dust, and saw it. A square, no bigger than a book, surrounded by symbols, perfectly cut, and in the middle, a circle. She touched it gently. Nothing. She pressed harder. A faint click echoed through the stone. And then, the mountain breathed. A rush of cold air blew out from the cliff. The fog twisted. Birds flew off in fear. Below, the scanners lit up. A new tunnel had appeared. But it wasn't scanned before. It was hidden. Now, it was open. The entrance was narrow, just wide enough for one person. Amara wanted to go. But the team refused. It was too dangerous. No radio signal could pass through the stone. So, they sent a camera drone. It entered the black tunnel. Slowly, step by step, dust floated like snow. The walls were smooth. No tool marks. No scratches. Then the drone turned a corner and stopped. Ahead was a staircase, carved perfectly into the rock. Each step had a symbol on it. Each step pointed downward. The drone followed. 20 steps, 40 steps, 60. And then, the tunnel opened into a huge chamber. The camera shook. Everyone stared. The room was circular, with walls covered in glowing stones. Not electric, not fire, just a soft, blue glow, like the stories Tomas told as a boy. In the center of the chamber was a structure, a cube, floating, not touching the floor, spinning slowly, as if weightless. And behind it, another face. But this one was different, not carved from stone. It looked metal, and its eyes were open. Suddenly, the drone lost power. The feed went dark. No sound, no light. It never came back. The tunnel closed by morning. The opening vanished, like it had never been there. Amara tried everything. The scanner showed nothing now. No tunnel, no chamber, no room. It was as if the mountain had changed its mind. Locals say the mountain gives one chance, one door, one glimpse, and if you go too far, it shuts you out forever. The secret tunnel is gone, but the memory of what they saw is not. The glowing stones, the floating cube, the second face, and that final image. Those eyes, still watching, still open, still waiting. The mountain never blinked. Its eyes, wide open, fixed on the jungle below. And over time, people began to notice something strange. Wherever you stood, no matter how far, the eyes followed. At first, it was just a feeling. Tourists said they felt watched. Goosebumps, shivers. Some turned around, expecting someone behind them. But there was no one. Only the stone face. A man named Reed Thompson, a photographer from Colorado, visited the site for a documentary. He brought a drone, 2 cameras, and a belief that it was all just a myth. He took 300 photos from different angles, but when he reviewed them that night, he froze. In every shot, the eyes were different. In one, the eyes looked left. In another, they stared up. In a third, one eye seemed half closed, like a wink, but the face never moved. It was carved stone, unchanging. Still, the eyes kept shifting. Reed went back the next morning. He stood in front of the face and whispered, "If you're real, do something." Then, his camera shut off. Dead battery. Brand new. Fully charged. When he got home, the photos were gone. Every file, corrupted. All that remained was one video clip, only 3 seconds long. In it, he was adjusting his lens. Behind him, the eyes of the face blinked. Once, then darkness. Others had stories too. A group of hikers said the fog got thick near the mountain. One woman looked into the mist and screamed. She saw the face, but it wasn't stone. It had skin. It smiled. Her friends found her 30 minutes later, shaking, crying. She never spoke again. Back in the village, elders shared an old tale. They called it the Watcher. They said the face wasn't a guardian. It was a judge. It watched those who came too close. It remembered their faces. And sometimes it followed them. Not with legs, not with footsteps, but with dreams. A local boy named Mateo began to draw pictures after visiting the mountain. Strange pictures. A floating cube, blue lights, a second face in the dark. He had never seen the drone footage. He didn't even know it existed. His parents asked where he saw those things. In my sleep, he said. He pointed at the wall. It stands there every night, watching me. Researchers began to study the rock more closely. They found microscopic veins inside the stone. Like wires, they carried a soft electric charge. The mountain was alive. Not like a tree or an animal, but something else. A system. A watcher. Something that recorded, remembered, reacted. A university team installed motion sensors. Every time someone passed in front of the face, the temperature dropped by 3 degrees. The air grew heavier, and the sensors picked up sound. Not voices, not words, just low, steady breathing, as if the mountain was awake. One scientist, Dr. Silvio Moreno, stayed for a week. He didn't believe the stories. He laughed at the blinking photos. Then, on the 7th night, he ran. He drove all night to the next city, refused to talk to anyone. Finally, in a private interview, he said just one thing. I looked into its eyes, and it looked back. After that, the mountain was closed to the public. Fences were built, signs posted, but it didn't matter. People still saw the face in their dreams. Some drew it without meaning to. Others whispered to it in their sleep. One girl in Brazil, who had never heard of the mountain, drew the same face on her wall. She said it told her, I know who you are. And every few months, new footage appears online. Grainy videos, shaky hands, always the same. A cliff, a face, eyes that shift when no one is looking, and one quiet message, you have been seen. The question now isn't what is the face. The real question is, what is it looking for? And what happens when it finally finds it? Years have passed, but the mountain has not changed. The stone face still stands, untouched by time, untouched by weather. No cracks, no moss, no sign of decay. As if it knows, its purpose is not finished yet. The cameras stopped working. The scanners no longer pick up the tunnels. And the scientists, most have gone silent. Some refused to speak. Others vanished into other projects, avoiding the topic. Only a few still whisper about it. In private, in faith, they say there are things we're not meant to uncover. And this face was never meant to be found. Satellite images of the mountain are now blurred. Zoom in too close, and the image pixelates. Just like secret military zones. Why would a face on a cliff be protected like a weapon? Some say the government knows more. Others say the face is older than any government. That it was here before we learned to write, before we learned to lie. And it's waiting for something. But waiting for what? No one knows. Because every answer brings more questions. The face isn't alone. In 2023, another stone formation was found, halfway around the world, in the highlands of Asia. Same shape, same eyes, same silence. Another watcher, or a part of the same system. One researcher believes the world once had 7 faces, each guarding something. He calls them the Sentinels. His theory, they are not just faces, they are locks. And when all of them are found, something will be unlocked. But that's just a theory. Right. Then there's the second face, the one behind the tunnel, the one the drone saw. That face wasn't carved from stone. It was made of something else. Metal. Machine. It blinked. Once. Before the camera went dark. No one has seen it since. No one can explain it. But one expert said something that still echoes in the reports. That second face. It didn't just look at us. It scanned us. And then there are the dreams. People still report them. Random people. From different countries. Different languages. All with the same nightmare. Standing in front of a giant stone face. Unable to move. And hearing a voice that says, "You are not ready." Not ready for what? No one knows. But the dreams continue. Even among those who've never seen the mountain. Never heard of it. Never watched a video. The face finds them anyway. A girl in Poland wrote the same symbols on her bedroom mirror. In her sleep. A boy in Egypt carved them into his school desk. He doesn't remember doing it. A soldier in Canada spoke the sounds in his dreams. And they matched the triangle tone pattern found inside the mountain. How is this possible? No one knows what the face wants. No one knows if it will ever speak. But one thing is certain now. It is not just a mountain. It is not just a face. And it is not alone. Some say it's watching for danger. Others believe it's watching for a signal. And a few believe it's waiting for us to find something. A message. A key. Or a decision we haven't made yet. Maybe it's a test. Maybe it's a countdown. Or maybe it's a mirror. Because when people stare at the face long enough, they all say the same thing. I didn't just feel like I was being watched. I felt like it knew me. And so the face remains. In the mist. In the rock. In our minds. No closer to truth. No closer to answers. Only questions. That stare back. This is Historia Unseen. And some stories are not meant to be solved. Only remembered.